Hello there and welcome to Shuttlebay 4. This is a discussion on the UK 2024 Star Trek convention. We talk about the venue, vendors, cosplayers, and of course, pudding. There's also a gallery of almost 600 photographs taken by and shared with members of Shuttlebay 4. These are in no particular order, they're mainly selfies, but it does give a good idea of the range of cosplay at the event.
I meant to mute him, I ended up booting him. Sorry, Christian.
You look really different without your Kardashian makeup. I've not seen you without it.
Yep, that's pretty standard, yeah.
I was starting to think it might be like one of those tattoo things, you know, where you love Kardashians that much, you just got.
Yeah, no, I actually look like that in real life all the time. Yeah, totally.
I was going to try and be all funny and say, "Oh, did anybody do anything nice at the weekend?" But I can't be asked to that. Right, so last weekend, obviously, was I'm never quite sure what to call it because just calling it Destination, it feels like there should be something after it. So we'll call it Destination 2024 or Destination Blackpool, whatever. Either way, everybody on this call was there last week. Yeah, Destination Trek. We can't call it that, can we? So we'll not call it that.
No, we're not.
Well, maybe we can call it that because we're not running it. But you know. So Destination Trek, it was I kept calling it HMP Norbreck. That's probably a good place to start, actually, because I don't know about you guys. I think I said last weekend that I was expecting pubes and bed bugs, and my room was actually all right. So I really don't have any complaints about the Norbreck. I was expecting the worst.
My room, room was fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a standard double room in the Norbreck. As you can see, not that fancy, but for what we're paying, it is very nice. Now let me ask one of the people that stand here. Now sir, what do you think about the room?
Yeah, it's nice. The screws, they leave you alone, you know, providing you behave yourself and all that. Food's all right, you know, I've had worse, but, you know, you can't go wrong with a buffet, you know. I think I've got it quite cushy, actually, because I've been told the light's out at 10 o'clock. Well, it's 10 o'clock and the lights ain't gone out, have they? Oh, fuck.
Did anybody?
Do you know what? It was satisfactory for what we needed it for.
Yeah.
But it was like you could tell it was run down, like ceiling paint on the ceiling wearing thin and stuff like that in and around the hotel. But for the purpose, it was more than sufficient.
I mean, it was simple, but it was clean. You know, that's the main thing.
Did anybody have any issues with the Norbreck then? Because I didn't.
Absolutely not. No, I thought it was amazing. When we consider we paid extra because we had to sea view everybody, and it was a sea view as well. It was nice and had 2 windows, bastard. So it was only a £10 extra. So we paid, for what we paid for, with dinner included and breakfast.
Yeah,
I thought it was actually good value. The rooms weren't special, but they were clean. That's all you ask for. So I thought it was really good value. Yeah.
I thought breakfast was really good to me. I've had way worse breakfast that have been, say, 3 times the price of that. So I can't. Yeah. I've got no issue with that. So what are people's thoughts on the convention then?
I had a really good time. Yeah. Like after the Thursday night, like from the Friday morning, I had a really good time.
Yeah. How do you feel it compared then? Because I mean, it's difficult to compare it to, say, pre-last year, because the ones before last year were massive. You can't really compare it to that. But the last one at the Hilton is probably a good comparison because in terms of guests, it was fairly similar. And I don't.
Yeah, I've only been at like, this year's and last year's, so like.
Yeah.
Sitting trying to think back to last year's, I spent a lot more time getting to know people, and this year was a lot more time like with people I already knew.
Yeah.
And not being shy to take pictures and making sure I got all my autographs. And like I think this year felt more, oh, I know what I'm doing. This is cool. Whereas last year was like, I have no idea what's going on. Help.
It does make a big difference when you go to a convention and you know you're meeting with people that you know. Because the first few I went to, I didn't have that, and it is really quite daunting, mixing with people. And what helps is the fact that you might be stood in queues next to people, and you tend to see the same people over and over again. So you go, oh, hi.
Yeah.
You know that. But yeah, it was good having familiar faces that you can, especially when you've got Gibbo, who basically plants himself at a table and claims it for his own. That made it a lot easier.
But I'm just terrible with faces. I don't remember people. And there were several people who were like, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "Hi,
I think you actually did that to me, Rach, at first. I said, hello, how are you? And you went, oh, I'm great, thanks, and then moved on.
You were not the only one.
And I turned around to Vic, I said, I don't think Rachel recognised me at all.
Steve, we don't normally see your face, we just see a symbol.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I thought afterwards. I thought, actually, do you know what? To be fair, unless I've got a big Klingon badge stuck to my forehead, you know, she's probably not going to recognise me. But
You do.
I
didn't really
seriously
think about it.
considered sticking on a Cardassian badge so like people knew who I was before I came on the school.
Steve looks different without a headboard behind him.
Shuttlebay 4.
Beautiful. I tell you what, Steve.
I rented it out to someone. It was fine.
Steve, speaking of you, I'm gonna have to mention my highlight of the convention, which was obviously when I had my photograph with Robert Duncan McNeil. Steve was in the queue before me, and we'd all been told, "Oh, Robert Duncan McNeil,
Right.
you
Hang
can't."
on.
I'll let you kick in.
Tell
Don't
this
worry.
accurately.
Yeah.
Tell this accurately, and not like conflated
I know.
and.
I promise you, I won't conflate
Emphasise.
it. I won't embellish. On the queue on the way in, we were told, you know, there's no physical contact with Robert Duncan McNeil, RDM. You know, it's just fist bumps or elbow taps. You know, no handshakes or whatever. And at first, I was a bit nervous because I thought, I wonder if he's going to be a bit standoffish with everyone. But it wasn't. It was actually really lovely, really friendly with everyone. And when I was second in line and Steve was in front of me, Steve went up to him to have his photograph taken, and there was like a slightly awkward silence. And I think, Joe, when you feel like you need to fill the silence. So, what did you say, Steve?
I don't recall, mate. I know. I think virtually everybody knows what was said. I, on the other hand, am a little bit sketchy. Please enlighten me.
Hi, Robert. I'm your biggest fan. It was something like that. I can't remember exactly what you said.
It was literally one sentence, I swear. Nothing more than that.
Touching him on the shoulder.
Yeah, no, do you know what, though? He put his arm around everybody. He didn't seem to... If they hadn't have come round and said no physical contact, you wouldn't have known any difference. No, you wouldn't have known any difference because we were standing in the queue. Oh, man, go have a drink. Right? We were standing in the queue and we could see into the room.
I'm your biggest fan.
When I had my
my
picture taken, I went up to Steve, and do you know what? Because mine was delayed because he went over to his phone and he was checking something on his phone. When he came back, I thought there was that awkward silence again because he's just been checking his phone. I thought, what do I say to him?
Oh my God, yeah.
So I just went, were you checking your eBay? That's all I could think to say. I thought I'm going to try and play it cool, not do a Steve. But I was desperate to get to Steve just so I could say, oh, I'm your biggest fan.
The second he stepped forward, he just looked at me and smiled and went, oh, fanboy. I was like, oh, I am never going to hear the end of this shit.
That was brilliant. But that was my highlight of the weekend. And
great, fantastic.
What do people think of the guests then? I know we had a couple of people drop out, but that always happens towards the end. But although there weren't that many guests, I was happy to have Robert Duncan McNeil because I missed him at a previous con. I've missed Tim Russ at a previous con as well. It wasn't a Star Trek one, so I was actually pretty happy with the guests. I've done Marina before, but I thought I'm doing Marina again. So I got Marina again. So I thought the guests were all right. I mean, actually, speaking of guests,
I really loved talking stroke.
I was just going to say, Sam, you are probably... Yeah. There's probably one disappointment for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, really, do you think? Yeah, gutted, still.
Yeah. So
we all were, don't worry.
For the benefit of the tape, I forgot, is it Andrew Robinson? Yeah, Andrew Robinson.
That's what I mean. Once he cancelled, that was it for me. If it weren't for you guys and meeting Rachel for the first time and Sam and, meeting everybody's partners, I wouldn't have bothered. So to me, the con was the bonus part. It was meeting you guys that I really went for. Because once he drops out,
oh, Jeddy,
you're so sweet. It's different to actually see people face. It's like meeting Rachel for the first time, meeting Sam for the second time because he didn't accost her this time like she did in Liverpool. Pinching Steve's cheeks. Yeah, I love that.
That's what I mean. That's all we had planned for the con, photographs, autographs wise. Was Andrew Robinson for him. I probably would have I was going to get a couple, but by the time I got there, I was like, you know what, now I'm in the bar, thanks. I didn't con at all. I went to a couple of talks. That's it.
Yeah.
I didn't get any autographs, didn't do any photographs, didn't do anything. Just stayed in the bar, mingled.
I missed all my talks until the end. But one thing that I would actually say about the Norbreck is, I thought I only went to 2 talks, right, and only one on the main stage or whatever, and it was the Deep Space Nine talk at the end. But I thought that was probably the best setup of any of the talks I've been to at any of the Trek conventions. The room was really nice. It was kind of like a ballroom with chandeliers and everything, so it looked quite nice. It wasn't an aircraft hangar, but the audio was brilliant. There were speakers all the way down. I could hear every single word, and normally you can't. It's echoey. There's other stuff going on, so I can't really fault it for that. I thought it worked really, really well for the talks. Well, the ones I went to. What talks did people go to then?
Yeah, went to the DS9 one, went to Retrek for a little bit before I had to run off for a picture, and that was literally, I didn't do any talks last year at all, but I was like, right, I definitely want to do at least the DS9 one, and that was great. I mean, like, this weekend talking to Sirach every day, because it turned out I was talking to Sirach often every day. He's great. He's absolutely amazing. Love him to bits. Fantastic. Absolutely lovely man.
Does he do conventions a lot?
I've not got a clue.
Oh, because this is the first time I've seen him at a convention, and he was brilliant. He's very articulate as well. He comes across as a very, intelligent. I want to say boy, because I just can't get out of my head the fact that he's,
He teaches at a university, doesn't he?
Yes, I wish for the life of me I could remember the name of the book he was talking about, because I'd love to go and look it up.
The DS9 I went to, was it Armin Shimmerman and Sirach Lofton on the Sunday? That's what I went to. Yeah, I thought it was a great
I'm
talk.
sure it was. Yeah.
Talking about the Norbreck though, again, like I said, where the talks were held, I thought was really good. The only thing I felt let down was the distance between the two things, because it was only on, I think, Saturday evening. Somebody mentioned the museum. Now, I knew there was a museum there, but it completely skipped my mind because I'd not seen it. And I was like, oh, shit, where's that? Oh, it's down there. I was like, well, I've been down there. I didn't see it. But yeah, you go in and keep going. And that was the only
You couldn't go
issue
much
I had.
farther, yeah.
Yeah, it was miles away.
Yeah, and like he did admit in the final bit, the signposting was really bad this year. So it's something clearly going to improve on.
I mean,
because even if it was signposted really well, you would have known to have gone down that way.
Yeah. I mean, in his defense, though, I didn't look at any maps, and I could have done, but I just didn't. So that's my fault. That's on me.
And how I spent Friday morning before everything was kicking off, just quickly try to work out where everything was, because like I remembered last year Birmingham, I could have gone round in circles in that hotel for hours and not found anything.
Yeah, it was a good thing that we did that, just to try and find.
I'm glad we did that. Yeah.
When it's
honestly,
quiet.
Like last year, I kept getting lost, and it was by the Sunday afternoon maybe that I sort of knew where everything was, but then it was the end of the convention, so.
I did see some people knocking do you know where the autograph hall was? That really big one. I did read some comments online where people were saying that it was really empty and it could have done with some more stuff in there. But I think it's depends on when you saw it, because when the first time I went there, well, on the first day it was really quiet, but when Christian came, for example, he wanted to go get some autographs. I'd been down there an hour before and it was absolutely rammed. The queue was going right to the back of the hall, and when I went there with him it was dead. So I don't really think you can win there. If you put a load of other stuff in there, when the autographs are busy, all the queues will kind of merge into one, and I think it's better to have that big empty space and let the queues have breathing space, because when it was at NEC, which is massive, the queues were blending into like the vendors and everything. It was an absolute nightmare. So I think that was a good shout, to be honest, the way they did it.
When we went in there into that hall on Saturday, the queues were huge, and I wasn't doing autographs on the Saturday because that was photos. But then when we went in on Sunday morning, dead. I literally had to wait no more than a minute and a half for each one, tops. And half of them didn't have queues, because I thought, well, we'll get down there nice and early, because based on what it was like on Saturday morning, I thought, let's get down there early, get that done.
Get it done, get it done, get it done.
Get it done.
Yeah.
And within 15 minutes, we were done and dusted. Fortunately, Vic came in and saved my bacon so that I didn't make another fanboy comment.
What did Vic think to it then? Because obviously she's not a Trekkie, so it must have been a bit bizarre being kind of thrown into it all.
She'd seen my pictures from last year, and she, and she's part of the Facebook page for Blackpool and everything. So she thought it was really good. She really enjoyed it. She thought it was interesting. She loved the Marina's talk. She really liked mixing with everyone. We didn't get to sit in any real talks other than the ones that came with the package. So Tim, Russ and Marina. We didn't really get a chance to do a vast amount else. I don't really know where half the weekend went. I think Saturday was spent mostly queuing in that hallway. Sunday we were sort of here, there and everywhere. We were in the Marina talk. We were doing the autographs and stuff like that. But like last year, I caught Jamie's talk on nanotechnology and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I found really fascinating. And there were some talks that I would have liked to have seen, but I just didn't have time. I didn't like the fact that right up the other end, hidden in the absolute arse end of nowhere, were those bits at the back. We didn't even see them until Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier on. I missed those, like the museum bit and the Lego displays, which are quite cool actually. I really like them Lego displays.
Yeah.
But
you really had to walk for it, though, didn't you? You just we were just following these corridors round and round and round.
Yeah.
And then when you got in there, it was like, yeah. And when you got in there, you were like, oh, is that it?
Yeah, because I'd kind of gone looking for the captain's chair and that from last year because I didn't get a chance to get pictures last year, and I really wanted pictures from this year, but obviously that wasn't here this time.
Riker's beard was supposed to. They said that Blackpool was just too far for them.
Yeah.
But because they do it for free.
Yeah.
And pretty much when they announced last year that it was in Blackpool, the guys were like, "Do you know what? It's just too much and it's too far for us for what it is."
Yeah, I hadn't realised that on the run up, and I was kind of like, I when I kind of got to the museum, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is it. Sound. Turn around, back out again.
I think it was noticeable the lack of Riker's beard there because they were such a big part of it last time. And I'm not going to go into that because when we did our retrospective, I mentioned that then.
It was such a big pressure last year.
But there is a lot of online stuff on Facebook where people are really getting behind Riker's beard and trying to, because they do sell, because I mean they've got a set of pins which I've got and they're really cool with the Riker's beard logo on. But one thing actually, because James messaged me actually the other week and I didn't get a chance to mention it on the call, which I feel bad about, is they do their com badges, Riker's beard com badges. I'll send what he sent me. It is all on Facebook as well. It's on their page, but I'll send him what he sent me, and I will buy some of them because I think. Because obviously the funds just go towards funding what they do and their charity stuff and such like. So hopefully people get behind it.
They started that after last year.
Yeah.
They were because before I found you guys, I was watching them on a Sunday evening.
Yeah.
And basically they were saying about that they were looking at getting them done and whether there was any interest and stuff like that. And so they started that after, but like pretty soon after Norbreck was announced, they were just like, it's just too far for us to gather everything up into vans, take it all the way up there. Especially when they don't get paid to bung them a couple of £100 to cover their costs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even just cover the travel.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen a few people suggest that already on the pages that we're on. There's a few people who've suggested that was so good. You do need to kind of supplement them for it.
But as far as like Vic going, she was like, where she had said, I don't know these people, and she saw how much we all enjoyed it and how many people went and how many people dressed up and all the effort that was made and just being encompassed by the whole thing for the weekend. She was just like, do you know what? Next year, I want to know who the people are. And I literally walked in from work yesterday and she was putting Next Generation Farpoint on. I was like, oh, I turned around to her, I said, look, just bear with the first 2 or 3 seasons. Ride it out. Things are weird. She really wants to get in it for next year.
She did dress up as well, didn't she? Because she looked great in a dress.
Yeah, she said she'd do one day. I said, look, I'm doing all 3 days. You don't have to. This is what some people are doing. I said, it's a really simple cosplay. It's really straightforward.
Yeah, just do the easy ones. Don't do the crazy ones. Don't do the hours of makeup and shit that idiots like me do. Just put on a dress.
Put on a red dress. It's fine. Boots. I said it's really straightforward. And she enjoyed it. But yeah, I think she'd be up for more cosplaying next year. I think she'll probably throw herself into it a little bit more than. I think she was a bit hesitant. She weren't sure what to expect.
She'll have a better experience of it if she's knowing who she's dressing up as well.
Exactly. One of the guys walked past and I went, "Oh, look, it's, you know, such and such." And she went, "I don't know who that is."
Was it Robert Duncan
And I turned around
McNeil?
and went, "Oh, they're..." It may very well have been, actually. I think it was probably Armin, which I could understand because he wasn't in the makeup. And she was like, "Oh, they don't look anything like it." I said, "Yeah, but Vic, that's like 20 plus years ago. Like, you don't look like you did 20 years ago, do you?" I said, "Neither do I. Nobody does." She wants to understand it and experience it properly next year, I think. Which is fine. She's got 393 days to watch as much Trek as she can get her hands on.
If I could do it between March of 2020 and the start of Picard the same year, then it's doable.
Did you do it all?
Then? Yeah.
The whole thing?
Everything from the start of Next Gen to the end of Enterprise.
Wow. That's commitment.
But that was lockdown.
Yeah, I suppose.
I'd never seen anything other than original series before 2020.
Right. Jonjo!
Hey, Jonjo.
Oh
my God. I genuinely had to ask who you were earlier. I'm so used to seeing you in makeup 2 years in a row that I was like, "Who's Sam Bell?"
I know, Sam, yeah.
Yep. Hi, it's me.
Exactly what I said. Do you know what?
You have to put makeup back on, I'm afraid, for every meeting. That's it.
Next time you go, Sam, just have a little sticker on with a selfie of you.
Yeah. This is what I look like in real life. Woo. There's you would have seen the 3 Cardassians this year. We have made close and quick friends, and we are discussing group cosplays for next year.
Are you coordinating?
Very much so. We're planning on coordinating, but there's talk of Mirror Universe stuff, and if it's Mirror Universe stuff, I'm not being Cardassian because that's just a Cardassian with a different badge. So maybe a human, a nice Terran Mirror Universe cosplay, and you'll actually see my face.
Oh wow! Hey,
just to confuse everybody.
Sam, while we're talking about makeup, I mean, I asked you this at the convention because it was a lot quicker than I thought it'd be like. Well, I think maybe this is because I'm used to watching these behind-the-scenes documentaries where they're talking about being in the makeup chair for like 6, 7, 8 hours. But you seem to blast your makeup on really quick.
Yes, I can probably answer this question better than Sam can because I have so.
Yeah, Rachel saw it.
Yeah, I am so fucking impressed with how easily and quickly she does it. She just gets in front of the mirror and she just does that.
This will be me. This will be me doing Cardassians for nearly 2 years now. So the very first maybe 2 or 3 times I did it took me closer to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really like sure of what I'm doing, but because I've done it so many times now, it's down to about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then like the Elysian Kingdom party, I did another half hour to do the makeup for it as well. Didn't change anything for Fistful of Datas because that was fine. But yeah, like 45 minutes ish.
That's amazing. I mean, I don't want to embarrass you, Sam, but you are an artist anyway, aren't you? You're not. It's not like you've never.
Yes, I am. No, I am.
Exactly. Yeah. So you are quite.
Yeah, I've got a HND in illustration, BA in art and design. I'm a visual arts tutor with the council. I run art classes. I paint.
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean,
calm down.
So I'll make the props and send them up to you. That's what I'm hearing there.
That sounds good, man. Yeah, go for it.
I guess I mean everyone says it about Sam's makeup, but the Cardassian stuff. Because normally when you see a Cardassian, it's like prosthetics, glued onto your skin. Whereas with Sam's, it's all painted on, but it looks so 3D that you have to do it. You do a double take. You assume that you must have, to put it bluntly, shit stuck to your face, but you haven't got any shit stuck to your face. It's all done with. It's amazing how you do it.
So that to me is so much easier than trying to get prosthetics to stay on my face. That's just not happening. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. Yeah. I don't know whether it's because I just don't know anything about it and I'm like totally freehanding it, and it's not. I don't have any experience or any expertise to fall back on. So I'm like totally jealous of Emma and Serena, who are the other 2 Cardassians, because they've made their prosthetics and get them to stick to their face all day. Like, what? No, I can't do that.
The thing is, though,
yours looks amazing. Yours looks just as good. Honestly, it doesn't look any less.
Whereas you look at you, and you're trying to find like the join line, and I'm like, is that pin? I remember this was last year at the party. I was like, is she wearing really good prosthetics, or am I drunk?
If everybody is drunk and you're in a dark room, then it's even better. Like, not a chance.
Yes, it's very good.
Thank you. It was what made me keep going back to it, because I'd only really got back into cosplay after lockdown anyway, and mucked around with it one night, talking to the Klingons, because Scottish Klingons was the first group I was in. And I did like half a face and was like, hey, what do we think of this? Is this something? And then tried it out once, and the reaction I got from like, oh my god, I've never seen somebody do a Cardassian before. It was like, oh, okay, cool. And did it a couple more times. But every time, like, there's, whether it's people who can recognize it but not remember like what a Cardassian is, but they know. Like, it's always good fun to like walk around and have somebody go, Spoonhead! What's that called again? That's my usual. But like, everybody has such a good reaction to it, and it's great. It's like really rewarding. This is why I keep doing it.
Why Cardassian then? And why Garak? I say why Garak. We all love Garak
because it's Garak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know. I like, in Star Trek, I like the kind of background politicsy kind of behind the scenes stuff. I love the Romulans for that reason. I love the Cardassians for that reason. We have spies and shit and no one knows what's going on. It's great fun. But I like the lizards. Give me space lizards. That's cool.
They are very different looking. I mean, they don't. I mean, we've mentioned with Voyager, they kind of went down that forehead of the week thing, whereas Cardassians look. Same with the Ferengis. They just look so different. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Singular.
I don't know whether they cast actors with long necks, but some of them actually
they did. Started Mark Alimo.
Yeah, I mean, not so much Andrew Robinson, who is obviously looks superb, but Mark Alimo just looks. His neck, honestly, just it looks. Yeah. You think, how has they managed that?
They cast him first, designed it off him, and then tried to put it on everyone else.
Yeah.
And like you can tell because of the neck. It's always like, neck. Don't have the neck.
No, but it works particularly well on him. Patches.
Hey, Patches.
Evening, everyone.
Hey, Patches.
Hello.
Patches. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
How are we all doing?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, mate. His car's just been nicked. Fucking hell, damn.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, it's not bothered about his car though. You're not bothered about your car, the way it's the cargo.
You know what? Cars are like, you know, they're machines. They're designed to wear out and break and all that. Like, even though I did like my car, there's always another one. It's the patches. And the rarest ones were the Axonar ones. And I think some of you saw the message from Alec Peters today, and I was like, oh, I nearly cried. I did. In fact, I think I did.
I can't have it no more. I can't have it. I've got to get that out. I've got to get that out. Let me out, Strong. Let me out.
While we're talking about patches, I do one thing I'm kicking myself over is the fact that for the Shuttlebay 4 merch that you kindly arranged and put together, I got some patches, but that was it. I love the hats. I look like a dick in a hat. I just cannot wear a hat. But I'm going. If you do any more orders, I'm definitely going to get one of them hats because I think they look amazing.
Don't show John, Joey. I'm gone.
So, I was going to say, what's that you showing me there? Say that again.
You can have mine.
No, I'm joking, please. I only really wanted the sticker, and Brush gave me the sticker, so that's cool. It's on the wall behind me.
I tell you, can I just say, right?
Rachel, she's gone looking.
It is amazing, right? That at this convention we had merch. We had like coasters, we had key rings, we had those bags. Obviously, you've got the big stuff like the hats and the hoodies and the t-shirts. And a year ago, this group never existed. You know what I mean? This is it's we're less than a year old, and I must admit, I did find it quite heartwarming to see us all wearing our stuff. Well, I didn't wear it.
It did. Yeah, when you say see us all wearing our stuff, Dan, it was nice that we had a table that was manned like almost 24/7. I think.
We always had a sort of.
Thanks, Gibbo.
That quickly migrated outside as well because in that room was like a furnace. We're not based on age, on race, on gender, or any other irrelevant factor. The only qualifying thing is that you sound and that you like Star Trek, and that's it. And we make an exception for Steve, but that's basically it.
Oh God, we found out he's got a lovely soft, isn't he?
He has, yeah. He's proper been found out.
that there are some. Merlin's got a T-shirt.
I was chatting to some of the Merlin guys. They were brilliant. They were a good laugh as well. They were.
Yeah, no, most of them are sound. Yeah.
Yeah, they was.
Am I right in thinking that is one of the Starfleet groups? Is it with the hierarchy?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is.
I think the Merlin crew were pretty good. Actually, all the other crews were pretty good. And the video that they really dig was the 800 pictures from the previous cons. I got a lot of feedback from that. And a lot of people saying, I was in that. I was in the background of that. And I was like, to spot yourself like that, you had to watch the whole thing.
Yeah. Hour and 40 minutes. It's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one. But I think...
How has it only had 234 views? I don't understand YouTube.
People must watch it in groups.
I don't know.
I mean, I could...
Yeah. But it was nice to feel some of that love from the other groups, even though we are pretty new.
Yeah.
There is no competition kind of thing. You know, I think people kind of know what we're about. And it's a really loose federation, basically. It's a loose federation of friends. It's a loose thing that is what it is. We don't really go in for the rank structure or the stiffness of other groups. And they get a lot from that, and that's great. And we get a lot from not doing that, and that's great as well. It was nice to get love from those other groups and for us all come together in that room, which was really nice.
Yeah.
Hot, but nice.
Well, Trekkies at the end of the day, aren't we? It doesn't matter what version of a Trekkie you are. You normally get along with a Trekkie. There's very few that I've met that we don't. There's a few, but there's a few in every walk of life.
Yeah, true. Most
nothing kicks off at that. No, that's the first. I mean, go to another event with 2,000, 3,000 people over the weekend. I didn't see a single pushing or shoving or falling out, shouting at each other.
I saw a bit of that. I saw a bit of pushing, shoving, and falling over. But no.
Oh yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah.
It was meant with malice.
Shout out Susie.
Oh, Susie, yeah.
Susie.
She's
never
brilliant.
disappoints. She's always there and falling over. Yeah.
It was good when I walked through the door and she just went whoop, bang backwards, and I just turned around and walked out the other door. I was like, nope.
But yeah, I did run into one or two people, only one or two actually, that it was their first convention.
Yeah.
Most of the people that were there were like veterans of Destination.
Oh, I spoke to a few newbies actually. I did speak to quite a few
I thought there were quite a lot as well, actually.
I think maybe being a different part of the country and being cheaper as well, so it was less of a financial investment for a lot of people to dip the toe in the water. Like for example, Steve's missus. I mean, if this had been a really big, expensive do somewhere else, not being a Trekkie, would she still have gone, or was that part of the draw of this fact that she could test it out and have a go?
We like doing a lot of stuff together anyway. She takes an interest in my interests, but I think when she saw that I went last year and how much fun I had, she was really gutted that she missed out. So I think come hell or high water, she was going this year.
Yeah.
But what I think is the bigger testament is the fact that she wants to go again. And she loved you lot for some stupid reason. I mean, I don't really know. I think you're a bunch of pricks that have done nothing but pick on.
She just wanted to see a smile for a change.
Right, I've just joined. Fuck her.
It was nice. It was nice for her to see a smile for a change, Steve. You know what I mean?
I gotta say, isn't she the opposite of you? So fucking smiley, I can believe it.
Yeah.
But then we discover, Steve. We discover that you're also smiley. You couldn't hide it in front of her. That's it.
That was just embarrassment. That was embarrassment. The thing is she's very much my opposite, which is why we work. She's very sociable. She's very happy. She can talk to anybody about anything, whereas I'm a miserable bastard. I don't like anything.
No, Steve, you were like a kid in a candy shop.
Right.
It's true though, Steve. I know I was taking the piss earlier on with you. I'm your biggest fan, but honestly, it was brilliant to see you grin. You were grinning all weekend, and it was great. It was great to see it. I would like to say that I have made that bigger than it was. It was a really quick thing, and it just made me laugh. And it's like if you ever work in an office, the minute somebody does something remotely embarrassing, for the next 10, 20, 30 years, that's it. You're always going to go on about it, and that's what happened there. But it was great seeing you, honestly, just grinning constantly. And it was also great to see, Vic enjoying it as well. She didn't seem like an outsider. I suppose that's kind of the Trek way, isn't it? Just being inclusive, bringing her into it.
Right.
I think it's quite good that I brought Susie with me for the same reason. The conversation that I got into the most, and it went on for a good hour and a bit, was Skydance's purchase of Paramount, how they count, what that means for the franchise. I think I was talking to Paul Connor about it. And I about an hour and a half into it, I thought, oh yeah. And I turned around because I was going to get, I was expecting the look off of Susie, like, yeah, I'm still here, motherfucker, remember me? And she was chatting away, probably like, she's probably saying something to Vic, like, look at them go.
Like,
look at them.
She said,
no,
why is Gibbo wearing ear defenders?
He's Princess
He
Leia.
can't hear you. There's no point, he can't hear you.
No, you're right.
I don't know if have we done this already? Have we done this bit?
Oh,
yeah, how you doing,
I didn't get one.
Off, you
I didn't get one.
festering.
I didn't
Oh, I
get
took
one.
mine off on Monday.
Oh no,
I'm
Rachel.
sorry. I just don't want
Dan,
to
have you got yours on still?
I didn't get one because I was lieutenant. I didn't get one.
All right.
so now the question is who's going to last longer? Is it Jed or Pat?
Well, it's plastic. It'll last till next year.
I thought that with the last one, but eventually it came off.
I did want it. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to use it anyway because it was a different color and it was Destination, not Trek. But yeah.
Do you know what? I did get the post-con blues, and it's because I didn't really spend as much time talking to each of you as I wanted to. I could have spent another day at least hanging out with you, Rachel, Dan, Brush, Jed, John Joe, you, Gibbo, Steve, and Chris, and other people that aren't on now. I just, do you know what? I really felt like a bit of regret that I didn't spend more time with you, but I spent all my time with you, but I just felt like it just wasn't enough time.
It just went so quick, didn't it?
Yeah. And
I thought that.
So I was talking to you, Brush, and I had Armin Shimmerman in Quark's bar, and I had to get up and go. And then I got into it with someone else, and then it was the DS9 talk. I had to get up and go. And that, I know that's the nature of a convention. Like you catch your peeps in between bits and pieces you want to do if you've got a picture or a talk or something like that. But I really do feel like I could have done another week of that. And I know I say that after I said that after the last con, but I could have really used it. Do you know what I mean? I'd probably still have the same car if I did, but I could have.
We spent a long time in the outside, really, didn't we? Like chatting and eating and whatnot. And the weather was beautiful, and the sun setting over the fair. You know what I mean? I'm not a very big romantic, but sat there having a few beers with your mates while the sun goes down. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's lovely.
Oh. Yeah, we had a full fish supper on a bench overlooking the beach and the sunset. Susie and I, and that was a nice moment.
Yeah.
And I made I did a Discovery first episode of Discovery style Delta on the beach.
Was that you?
So then when I looked on the sand, I got drew that, and then you told me, said, take pictures! Take pictures!
Yeah. I was
talking of pictures. Tell me somebody's got a picture of Jed face down in the grass. That is my highlight. That is genuinely the highlight of my weekend.
I've not seen it.
After going on about someone's going to fall over that, some old bastard's going to fall over that. Next thing you know, bang, flower.
I've got to admit this now. Steve pushed me.
You did.
Some of the other lessons I learned, I won't do dinner there. I'll do the bed and breakfast, but there is that chippy at the back is fucking superb.
The hotel was sold out. Say it's the first time. I think it was in 10, 12, 14 years that it sold out.
Yeah, there's
but like Monday it looked like a graveyard. It's just there was barely anyone.
Monday was dead. Absolutely dead.
Monday, I think Sunday night was after the con wrapped up and all of the volunteer staff for Destination were carting the museum, which was like 6 mannequins out the door.
Yeah.
They started calling the bingo, and it looked like the regular Sunday night crowd. And the chippy was all right, and I didn't even get to try Pizza Hut, which I was looking for.
There was a Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Make sure you order early because thi'll send you the wrong thing to start with.
Yeah, I was going to say that the extra pizzas that got sent that were wrong were excellent. Yeah.
I personally didn't leave the site until I went to the chippy, Saturday or Sunday night. That was like the only time I left the ground.
It's food.
Yeah.
Speaking of 5 a day, Chris and Michael Bond is not Mike, is not Michael, is not Mr. Bond, is Michael Bond. They had their 5 a day puddings because every time they had something to eat, they tried every single pudding. They were literally, they'd like, I'm sure they took notes on each one and scored them. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me, but they were working through them puddings.
Oh, the pudding in the Norbreck, which was lemon cake and custard, was proper government issue pudding, and the government issue custard. And I loved it. So that would be.
Sounds like you had more fun at dinner than you did at the con.
I had more fun at dessert, and in fact, I did. With my dinner, bed, and breakfast, dinner consisted of a Chinese. But before I went for the Chinese, I had 2 bowls of that cake and custard for dinner. Apart from,
but Dan needs to learn not to put fish with pie and chicken on the same plate. You dirty bastard!
Oh, Dan, no, you didn't.
It was a medley.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
And then he went back for a second plateful.
Oh no!
His name was two dinner Dan.
And that's why he looked like shit.
That's
2
dinner Dan every night. At least I had 2 puddings.
Pudding is good. The pudding was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Back to the convention then. There's a couple of things. I'm wondering what people thought. Seeing as while people are talking about drinking, I didn't go to them. Who went to the parties and what did you think? Was it worth it?
I went to the parties. Parties were decent on the Friday night. Saturday night, I think, my face was literally melting. Like, if you saw me, I was dripping face paint. It was so hot, I literally couldn't stay in that room any longer. If it would have been cooler, I think I'd been fine. But the Friday night, we went in for a look and then actually stayed all the way through. It was great.
Was it as good as last year's? Because I went to Riza last year and I actually thought that one was a bit of a laugh.
The Friday night this year was very much like Riza last year.
So they had all the inflatables and the...
Not like quite as much, but like the atmosphere was very similar on the Friday night. The Friday night was jumping. It was really good.
I mean, if you have only a 3-day pass or something, I would say it's really worth buying the extra £20 or £21, whatever.
Or go scrounging, because loads of people had tickets and weren't using them.
From the pictures I saw, it didn't look like the theming was as good. I think the theming needs to be really good, and I think the Hilton sort of nailed that with a Riser one. I distinctly remember riding several pine trees down a fake beach at one point. That was
there definitely wasn't as much like inflatables and decors there was last year. I don't know if it's just a bigger room and it didn't look as much, but there was definitely less. But in terms of atmosphere, it was really good.
Was that Rachel?
We made an effort with the decorations, like the small decorations, they like confetti on the table and sticker sheets and everything. Just the little details. They put so much effort in because I remember on the Saturday they had like all this cowboy stuff, like little horses, little hats, little mustaches that you could stick on. You know?
Yeah, there was mustaches and weird confetti and
they really made an effort.
£5. If the parties were £5, they'd treble the attendance, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they would be, yeah.
Yeah, well, confetti doesn't buy itself there, John Joe.
The ones I've seen.
I'm glad you've said they were good, because I have read a load of negative stuff about the parties, but because I wasn't there, I don't know.
Once you like actually kind of get into them, like the first 10 minutes where you go to the bar, stand around, drink your drink, try not to spill it because you don't want to jump around with a full drink. Like once you actually get into the party and get dancing and get like into the spirit of it, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, you need the alcohol lubrication. That was very much the same last year as well. Because when we first walked in, I distinctly remember walking into that one in Hilton. I was like, the theming's really good. And it was sort of like, what happens when you put 200 Trekkies that don't really know each other in a room? Yeah. Everyone finds 100 corners, even though there's 4. But then once everyone had sort of 4 or 5 beers, we were riding palm trees from memory. Yep. Off a stage at one point.
Having it at 8 o'clock gives you a good couple hours to like get drunk first and then go.
Yeah, it was a really good time as well. And on the Friday, it was like 12 o'clock before we knew it. And I was like,
the Friday was really good. The costumes on Friday were really good as well. And the costumes were great in general, but Friday was really good.
Where was it, the party, anyway?
It was
in the autograph room.
Oh, the autograph. Oh, that is a big space, and
it's a big room. So I don't know. It felt very school dancey because there was so much space.
Yeah.
And they had a bar in there.
There was a bar in there, yep.
Was that the same as the Hilton the year before, though, where it was one bar and the queue went all the way around the building twice?
No. There was about 4 or 5 people serving. It was fairly good.
All right. Yeah, more than the actual bar then. Fantastic.
Yeah. It was actually quite busy in there.
The bar at the Norbreck had 2, maybe 3, but mostly 2.
I think the whole thing with the Norbreck is, I think they underestimated. They didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, they were not ready for us.
I think they weren't ready for us at all. I think next year it'll be more of a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. You know what they did? They made the same mistake everybody. Trekkies. Well, they're not really gonna. Next minute they've got literally 1,000 pissheads pressed into a room. And I just think the bouncers were like astounded at one point, amazed, and at some points quite concerned as well.
I didn't think the bar queue was that big actually. When I went, I was never queuing for as long as I did at the Hilton, where that central bar, that main one, the queue for there, and also the queue there was a bit of a nightmare.
They came in waves, so from where we were sitting, you were able to watch the bar and see when it got quiet and go up then.
And I never queued.
Good for you.
I went to Jake's Copper. I got fucking served every time I walked in.
I was going to bring that up. Why didn't we go to the ice cold, empty, well-stocked Guinness floating bar at the end of the convention centre?
No, it was really cold in there. Cause I went there once. It was freezing. It was lovely. It was air conditioned. It was like walking into a freezer. It was amazing. I thought, why have we not been here? Because this was Sunday night, and I was like, why have we not just walked into the?
Well, because I heard a few times there was another bar, but I couldn't work out where it was.
It was like literally about 30 seconds walk from the main one.
It said, you go through reception, it says amusements.
Yeah.
Like copper
something. On the right hand side.
Copper Jam.
I never saw that open. It always was shut.
Sorry, boys and girls. Sorry to interrupt.
that.
Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry to interrupt. I have a visitor.
Oh, sorry.
Can anybody guess who it is?
Hey,
I was just going to know what an episode of Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Told ya.
Do you know what? I couldn't think of a better evening.
I'm going to go. I'll see you later.
You know what, Steve?
In all honesty, the bar staff didn't stop from when we got there to when we left. The bar staff, the staff did not stop moving. They couldn't have sold drinks any quicker, and they didn't stop. And I think that they were off. The Guinness was off. There was another lager that was off. They were running out of Jack Daniels as well. I mean, they were selling out, and I think their bar did quite healthily. I think they made a few quid.
Getting back to the convention, did anybody go to the the cosplay competition and see all that? Because I never watched. Well, I missed everything.
I got the end of it. Yeah.
Were you in it, Sam?
It was
not
great,
this year. I didn't go.
You know what I really loved? I loved 7 of 9 and the Doctor from Voyager. Oh my god, that was just
they were
so
good.
Sweet.
They were really good.
They just did this whole scene of they were singing that song "You Are My Sunshine." I was like, oh my god, this is just adorable. I absolutely loved it.
I didn't see it, but I have heard people talk about it.
And of course, I loved the Norbreck, but it's lovely.
Yeah, I caught that, and then like maybe the next 2, and then that was the end of it. I didn't catch all of it, but my new best friend Serena the Cardassian won something, so we're all happy.
Excellent.
The one was good, yeah.
I mean, some of the other stuff I like the panel talks, because in previous conventions they were in rooms a lot like the autograph room with the the bare deck and curtains, and the acoustics were shocking, really. And it didn't matter what ticket you bought, where you sat. It was really, really hard to listen. And in fact, the acoustics were probably slightly better outside the curtain where you couldn't see.
What was that for? Sorry.
This year, that was in previous cons, the panel talks, the acoustics because of the curtains and yeah. In this one, the room that they had the panel talks in, the stage room with the opulent, formerly opulent kind of ceiling and all that kind of stuff. The speakers were set out right, the chairs were set out right. Where we did the closing ceremony, that thing, that was really good actually. And for the DS9 talk, we were literally second row from the back.
We were right.
Heard everything.
We were the last row of people. We were right at the back. I mentioned that before you joined, Patches, that I think this was, of all the talks I've ever been to, all the conventions, that was the best in terms of being able to see what was happening, and also in terms of audio, because the audio at the previous ones have been so bad that you've just caught the odd word, and you've kind of you've enjoyed, you kind of accept, I can't hear it, I'm just going to be in the presence of, I don't know, Armin Shimon or someone like that. Whereas this time you could actually hear it, and you couldn't, it's not that you could just hear it, it sounded perfect for those speakers. It was really, really well done. And it was all carpeted as well, which I think helps.
Yeah.
You get a lot less
massively.
audio bound.
Which talk was
everyone's
favorite?
Hundreds of layers of paint help with that as well. There's a bit of sound editing.
Yeah. I think quite kindly from Dee and Jed, Susie and I went to the cocktail, what was it, the mixology class?
Yeah.
Oh, that was really good. That was really, really good. I come out of there half cut.
The only problem with that was it could only fit 60 people in. And they didn't have enough tables and they didn't have enough chairs.
and they didn't have enough booze, really. So we were passing it with, like, you filled a cocktail glass. You made one person at the table made the cocktail in the shaker, poured it into the glass, and you sipped it and you went, and passed it along, and it went round the table. And you could see
And everybody
everyone
had
lifting
COVID.
the glass, the cocktail glass to their face, looking at you who's drunk out of it before and going, I don't fucking know you well enough to be drinking out of your glass. It was really, really good. Really excited. Like, they had a dude dressed up as Hom. You know, Loaxana Troy's.
Yeah.
Every time you took a drink out of the cocktail, we stood behind it with a triangle and went ding, and you're like, oh.
Was that Alan Window who dressed as the Earl Grey tea bag doing that? We spoke to him on the last on Sunday. Yeah.
And he stayed in character throughout the mixology thing.
Yeah.
He never said a word.
I didn't get any photos of him. I really wanted to. I tell you what, I also didn't get any of the guy dressed as the punk.
I haven't uploaded any of my pictures because all my shit.
Yeah.
But I will upload my pictures, and there's a few of the mixology,
brilliant,
and there's a few of some decent cosplay. But the mixology, I would recommend that.
Yeah.
The talks are really, really good in that place. I recommend that. Some of the other activities, I didn't get to paint a model this year, but they did do it.
I'll send you one if you want.
I didn't realise that.
What about that?
I didn't realise
they did paint an Eagle Moss model. So I think there will be a bit more of that on the go next year. If there is, I'll be doing doing a bit of that. Depends on how fucked up I'm feeling, really.
What cosplay stuck out to you then, in terms of like I said, there was that guy dressed as the punk from Star Trek 4, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I wish I got
there
a
was a
photograph
guy
of him,
that played. The guy that turned up dressed as Cowboy Data really nailed it.
Was that Lee?
Yeah, Lee.
Yeah.
All
Lee's
are brilliant.
cosplays were brilliant, but
it's a really basic cosplay as well, but it was just perfect.
Yeah,
like,
but the materials
does that
were
make
great.
sense? Like, there wasn't much to it, but the bits that it was done were fucking perfect.
You could tell though that
and sometimes
his suit and that
what nails it.
What it was wearing was high quality. So it sounds daft, but a lot of thought got into it. It wasn't just wearing like some shitty suit that didn't suit him right. The clothes he was wearing was
what I mean,
it was high quality stuff. But he's done data quite a lot, because I've got a picture of him from I think 2016. Yeah, it must have been 2016. And he was absolutely. He's always looked superb, but he looks so different out of cosplay that you don't realise it's the same person. Honestly, it is.
He in particular, Lee is actually a tailor. Like, honest to God, is actually a tailor.
Is he a
Oh well, that's fucking cheating.
That's there you go then. That's why.
Yeah, no, bollocks that. Yeah. No, take all that back. Delete it from the edit. That's it.
No, it does look brilliant. It's not just suit. It's the makeup, and it's also the fact that he. If I was dressed as Data, I'd be walking around grinning everywhere. Yeah, I'm Data. Whereas he nails it.
He's fairly good at keeping in character. Yeah.
The Kai and the Vedic were very
good every year, aren't they?
They've been there every year since 2012.
And they're from Yorkshire.
The business still.
They're from Yorkshire as well.
I have never moved so quickly to get a picture across the bar. I think I pushed people out the way. I'm like, fucking move.
There was a
I'll tell you who really stood out.
Go on.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say there was a ripple of excitement when they were in the rooms. Everybody moved down to get a picture with them. Go on, John Joe.
Yes. The 3 people. It wasn't the cosplay. The 3 people that did the Andorians and then the Borg. Absolutely nailed it.
Every year.
I met them as they did the Orions last year, didn't they?
Yeah,
I heard them, and there was like, they said, we really like your Romulan outfit. We think we should put more effort into it rather than just doing a Orion thing. And then they turned up in that, and I was like, well, you fuckers, you've gone a little bit further than that, haven't you? Jesus, it was where they'd cracked it all by wearing it around. They said they wore it a few days so that it looked like it had been worn. And I was like, and the Borg was incredible.
Shame Gibbo went on, because he was telling us that a bunch of Klingons and a bunch of Andorians walked into Morrison's, and I thought it was going to be a joke.
I love the photograph of that.
They've inspired my next year's costume. I think I'm gonna go for it this year. I think I'm gonna go for a half assimilated Starfleet officer. See if I can pull it off.
I'm not trying to blow smoke up anyone's ass, but John Joe, you look cracking. Gibbo always looks cracking.
I didn't do anything.
He really does. And when you could hear him, when we were having a look around the merch, you could hear him roaring for people's pictures that they wanted with him. And I was like, Gibbo's round the corner, he's in his element. And you, Sam, your Kardashian is but no prosthetics is to die for. It really is super impressive.
We were talking about that, yeah. Like we've made best friends, the three Cardassians now. We're besties. We're inseparable. So look forward to seeing the three of us at each other's hips the whole of next year.
Yeah, good. No, that's excellent. That is really excellent.
Well, that's the ultimate convention story, isn't it? The ultimate convention story is three people who didn't know each other, all dressed as Cardassians, and next year you're coordinating and you're best of mates now. That's brilliant.
We have so much in common. It's borderline scary. We think we're actually the same person from 3 different timelines. It's scary, but like, yeah, we're already planning a group cosplay for the competition next year.
Brilliant. Epic.
And that fucking Gibbo, I tell you, he turns up in that fucking Klingon thing every year.
Oh, it's always the same, isn't it? He never fucking gives it a break.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna do something different.
Screaming his
Klingon.
tits off. He's like,
I mean, yes, I'm like walking around with a Romulan jacket, a Romulan coat with no fucking pointy ears.
That is true, Gibbo. I did fuck it all off this year, to be fair. I did. I had a really lazy year this year.
The irony of the fact that it's John Joe he just brought down that spends more time on their cosplays and looks more on point than most of us ever had.
Not this year, Steve. I had all the stuff in my room and I woke up, I was like, oh, fuck this. I've had too much to drink.
She looks amazing on Saturday.
Yeah, Francesca's was superb.
Yeah.
Bit different, yeah.
John Joe, but Francesca looked at business and she had to walk around with the likes of you. You might as well have had a T-shirt on saying "I'm cosplaying as a Romulan" or something.
Yeah. I put the ears on last year, and
Speaking of hot cosplays, Gibbo, we were talking about you before you joined, right? I think the great thing about what you do and what you wear is it's not just the costume, which is amazing; it's the performance. Yes. Patches was saying before we started taking piss that you're giving it the rah, but when Horatio's in his as well. The two of you together, that is amazing. You could do with your own section at the con. Honestly, you could do with people queuing to get a photograph.
If we went there to have some photographs taken at the back, and we did a little bit of a backlist fight, then all of a sudden we had a massive crowd round us, and they all wanted photographs. So we had every time we took one in a time, and all we did was slag them off and berate them.
Talking of the con, right? Oh my God, he's naked. Where's the mute button? Where's the blank button? Make it go away.
You just had a shave, Chris. You look squeaky.
I can't see him. Where is he?
There, mate.
You don't want to dance.
You're not missing much.
Thanks a lot.
Is he in an hair salon there?
Where is he?
Yeah, it looks like a salon, yeah.
It does look like an hair salon. It looks like a little tray with some...
Right, I'll put a T-shirt on, all right?
Are you in a hair salon, Chris?
It's a fucking letter for you.
Are you having your chest whacked?
What was I going to say? Do you know, right, cosplays, we were on about the trio, the Andorians and the Borg and everything. I feel really bad because I don't know the name. I know Sarah Drummond. They are brilliant because I think the same as Horatio, they cannot, and you, Gibbo, they cannot take a step without people taking photos. And clearly, obviously, that's part of it. You know, you love all that. But you give a lot to the convention when you're doing that because you're not just dressing up and having fun. It's almost like a job, isn't it? Because you are constantly...
It took us an hour and 10 minutes to get down one corridor.
Yeah.
It is. And that is what makes it. That's what draws new people as well.
That is what makes it, yeah.
Even my mum, who watched, she did watch Next Generation when she was younger, and she's the one who really got me into it. But she's not a massive Trekkie at all. But she just came in for the silly family, the really nice family dinner that we had planned, and came and collected me, and I really wanted to go. And she went, just a minute, are they Borg? It's like, yeah, she was like, that's incredible. Just hold this, take a picture, and just like ran off like a school child in the direction. So that's what brings new people. Like if people see, really good cosplayers, I can't stay in character. I don't have it in me, but people like Gibbo who stay in character and stuff, it does add to it.
I can berate people all day long in a fucking angry attitude.
Yeah, I was wondering whether it was in character. Or is that just,
it's more his personality than anything else.
They're really well humoured with it as well. You chat to them and they're clearly enjoying what they're doing. You can have a laugh with them, and it's just there's such a bit like Riker's beard, like I was saying before, elevated the previous con. Well, that was the previous one, the one before that now. People like Gibbo, Horatio, all the other amazing cosplayers, and Sarah and the other two, I cannot remember the names, I feel really bad, but they are all amazing. That's what lifts it. And these familiar faces you see all the time, and we've mentioned Sam's makeup and everything, that's what I remember. When I think of all the visual stuff, it's not so much the talks, because I can't remember what was said, but I do remember all those cosplays, and I wish I'd taken a picture of that fella dressed as the punk from Star Trek 4.
That was a very good choice, wasn't it? I did think that was very like. How do people think of that?
It's
like I dress as a Romulan because I like it.
Yeah.
You know, and Fallout 4 because I liked Fallout. But how do you go? I'm going to be the guy on the bus in that one scene. Like that is fucking genius. It is. It takes a different mindset.
Speaking of cosplay, I did one on the Saturday, and I don't think anyone knew what it was, and it wasn't particularly well done. It was the Prodigy one, you know, the Live Logs and Proper. I can't do it. The Live Logs and Proper.
Yes, you need to get your fucking makeup on your dick.
I didn't do the makeup on there.
All it was is 3 bloody lines on your forehead in different colours.
Sorry, Dan, you're crap at makeup. Did you see me the year before with my fucking blue tack stuck to my face?
It's better than what I did.
Right.
This needs to be straight lines.
There's
no way I could do it.
Right, we need a makeup slot from like 9:30 till 10ish after breakfast. We're just all sit in the bar, I'll like rattle threes.
You heard that here, folks. Sam's going to do all his makeup next year.
Yeah, you
Fiver.
Bring your grey.
I'll give you a $5 all day, every day, Sam, to do my makeup.
As long as it's like
I mean,
3
you'll end
lines
up
on a
looking like-
fucking Romulan or whatever, that's easy as shit. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, it might be when you're fucking good at it.
Yeah. Not to like totally self-promote, but I'm gonna try and do a whole load of like makeup tutorials on my Instagram for the Star Trek cosplays. I put up a Trill one already.
Did anybody see the Jamie Gallagher talk? Because I missed it this year. I watched it last year. I thought it was really good. And the only time I saw Jamie Gallagher it must have been on the same floor as me, because several times I'd get out of the lift or whatever, and we'd passed each other. And I was a bit gutted that I missed his talks. In the past, they've been really interesting. And I think Marina Sirtis joined him for his talk this year. Did anybody catch that? No way. We were shit at talks this year. I missed everything. Yeah.
I went to one. Yeah. And I only went to that talk because I was like, I've not been to a talk. I've not actually been to the con, really. I better go to at least one talk. So I went to the Voyager one, which was actually excellent.
We went to 2. We went to the Monster Maroon.
Yeah.
On the Saturday, and on the Sunday we went to the music of Star Trek, and we saw you, Dan, at the front with your son.
Hey, listen, I told you Christian's not my son, but I am his daddy. But I didn't realise you were that one.
Yeah, we were at the back.
Because he taped Baby the Hat and then played it for Steve and went, I'm going to send you this.
But what got me was in the foyer. I'm stood there pissing my sides because you're taking pictures of Christian bouncing a fucking balloon around the foyer, and you stood there like a proud dad.
Was that when was that just before I started swinging D around?
And then I can't remember.
Christian then started doing handstands, and you told him off.
Jack went into work mode and went, right, stop it now.
He lost a lot of credibility before. He won a little bit back through Birmingham, and lost it again this time.
I think this time as well, like his policy, to be fair, has changed this time, and he proved it to everyone. With every guest that was cancelled, he offered the automatic refund. So I think that should be noted by the fans, just so that that's an improvement. You know, that's what we've all been asking for.
Yes, everyone got
if the guest cancels before we get our photograph, we don't need a voucher. We want an automatic refund, and he's offered that this year. So that's fair play as well.
Yeah, that's a huge thing as well.
So I think it's fair dues to him that he's offering the automatic refunds now. Because for me, I feel a bit more confident. If people don't buy photos because they've been burnt, well, now if people realise automatic refunds happened,
I'll buy all my tickets and autographs now up front, knowing that. As long as that stays the same, I'll ask the question. But
it's more
because that's and you're right, because people waited until the last minute again. I
well,
saw
everyone
all over
did.
Facebook.
Yeah, everyone did.
Yeah.
I were advising people to do it because you don't want to end up with a voucher, do you?
I just want to mention really quickly, D and Jed, you mentioned that Sound of Star Trek. That was the only talk really that I wanted to do while I was there. I did the DS9 and I really enjoyed that because I love soundtracks. It's what I listen to more than anything, and I really enjoyed that one. And I understand. Well, I know that Liam did that last year as well, and he kind of tweaked it for this year. And I'll probably go next year as well if he does it then. But I did really enjoy that. And at first, I wasn't a big fan of the fact that they get in fans to do panels because it almost felt like a bit of filler. Do you know what I mean? And a bit unfair. But actually, it was a really good talk. I got everything I wanted from it. I learned some stuff. And I know Liam did quite a few talks.
I walked into the merch hall with you, Dan, and you was there, Bruce, and there was someone in uniform playing all the theme tunes to Star Trek on the flute. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, she was good, yeah. She was really good. I enjoyed that. And
she's really famous, by the way.
Is she?
She's got a really quite large YouTube channel. I only know that because, like you, Dan, I really like soundtracks and I listen to a lot of Hans Zimmer when I'm doing my shit in my shed and stuff like that.
Hans Zimmer.
And 25 years or 50 years of Star Trek is her sat on all the different bridges. It's obviously a bit of CGI, but she gets changed into different uniforms as well as it progresses, and she seamlessly plays from one into the other, and it's really, really good.
No, she was. I thought it had the atmosphere as well. It was just nice having some music, having something there. So I did really appreciate that. What do you think to the vendors hall then?
That's what's missing from the main hall.
No, I agree, and hopefully we can have something like that. Even if they just play some music. I mean, I don't know how it works with not having the license for CBS, but just something. The vendors hall, again, I've seen loads of negative stuff on Facebook saying it was tiny, and it was a lot smaller. But I thought the quality of the vendors was really good. I thought that there wasn't much filler there.
All Star Trek, not generic shit, except the candles table.
There was one stall had more random stuff, but most of them.
Yeah.
I love the candle table. That red alert candle she does is lovely, and I don't want to hear a bad word about
the candles are great.
And if people like that, that's fine. It's just not my cup of tea, and that's why there's more vendors. But you're right, Dan.
It was really good.
It was Star Trek specific rather than 29 vendors at a Star Trek convention, of which 4 are actually doing proper Star Trek stuff. Everyone's got the token, Eagle Moss ship, but actual Star Trek stuff, which there's not much of because Paramount are wankers.
No, but it was good, and I must say, I've got to say a big thanks to Brush as well, because there's one went to MCon. The guy who's the artist. He's brilliant. I love his stuff. I know John Joe. Yeah, John Joe's got a load of his stuff. I had a good chat with him
as we speak. Yeah.
And at MCon, I said to him, because he had a picture there, and it was from The Italian Job, one of my favourite films. And I said to him, "Oh, I love that film." And when it was my 40th birthday, it was during lockdown, and I watched it with the kids, and it means a lot to me, that film. And I said, I'm due to get a promotion soon at work, and I'll get a bit of a wage bump. And I'm going to get that as a bit of a celebration and stick on my wall. And for those who don't know, instead of getting a promotion, I ended up getting made redundant. So it's quite the opposite. But Brush got me it. The guy, took it to the convention, and Brush got me it. So I just got,
I got my print as well yesterday.
I still maintain you shouldn't have done it.
There.
Yeah.
When he bought that, I stood next to him when he bought that.
I'm terrible at keeping secrets, and he told me on the first walk around the thing that we did, he was like, I'm going to get him that later, and I was like, you shouldn't have told me that.
I was really quite moved by that. Cheers, Brush. And you still shouldn't have done it.
You're very welcome.
You're still a naughty boy, but it is brilliant.
I bought myself an Enterprise one.
I did see baseballs being sold at the vendor hall.
Yeah, I saw them.
No, they weren't for sale.
No, me and John Joe spoke to him. Yeah.
Yes, it was the stands that were for sale. They were just to demonstrate the stands.
Because he was saying that people have said to him, "Oh, how much are the baseballs?" He's like, "I just bought a job lot, but people wanted to buy the baseball, so he says he might bring some next year." But, oh yeah, do you know we mentioned the vendors earlier on? The one who's talking about the baseballs, he had. I'm picking up my phone because I need to put my torch on for this. He had the best business card ever. I don't know if this will work, but it's.
I believe that amazed you so much.
Honestly, I've got it on my desk. I'm showing everybody. There's not that many people in my house to show. He had these 3D printed business cards. If I shine a light on it, you can maybe see it better. I don't know, but it's arcade prints. We had a really good chat with him, didn't we, John Joe?
Yeah, he was sound. He was quite happy to tell us what he was using as well. And to be honest with you, he's using pretty much what I've got, but only 3 of them, and he's running a business with that, which is pretty impressive, really. That's
wow.
It's some dedication to do that, but he buys the files and he's got the proper licenses, and he was quite happy to explain where he got all the licenses from and stuff. And that's kind of a big thing for me. I'd pay a little bit more money knowing that the guy that sat down for 60 hours and made the files has got a tenner as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's the name of what was the other vendor? The one that was at MCon? They were brilliant as well. I've got the name.
Yeah, they're good. Quartermaster, Sci-Fi Quartermaster.
Yeah, because I bought I bought 2 things off them. I bought a Type 2 TOS phaser and a communicator because I just love that. To be honest, at every convention I see them, I'm going to get some stuff so I can put them on my shelves because I absolutely love theirs. But I saw when we were in the canteen, queuing for his food, there was somebody behind me, and I'd not seen her in the vendors hall, but she had the Sci-Fi Quartermasters like a hoodie on or a t-shirt or something. And I said to her, "Excuse me, are you something to do with the vendor in there?" She said, "Yeah, I think she said it was a dad and a brother doing it." I said, their stuff's absolutely amazing. And she was well made up that I'd mentioned their stuff and how brilliant it was. But it was. We said this last time, and I don't know whether we should be covering all ground or not, but the vendors hall, I was really blown away by it. It was really small to start with. Like, oh, there's not much there, but
yeah, a lot of people were disappointed that there wasn't many there, but everyone there was quality, so it was fun.
I've got a quick question. One of the costumes that me and Gibbo saw, we couldn't figure out what it was, and it was basically a guy, and he got one of those tubes that a dog runs through, and he put that over himself, covered it in lots of blue LEDs. Was out.
You know, in Reginald Barkley, you get caught in the transporter, and that thing tries to eat him.
Yeah, see, no, that's what I said to Gibbo. That's what the only thing I can think of is that.
Yeah, it was the same person that did the Reg Broccoli on it, so I should imagine that kind of plays on the same theme.
Oh, actually, they were brilliant, right? Because they were the first. That was the first photo I took of the weekend. Was them with the big broccoli, and I ended up chatting to them loads at the convention because they wore some amazing stuff throughout it. Because she wore a nice dress and it kind of paraded her through, and because they sat with us as well at one stage. Because I put the broccoli on, I tried it on, and there was no visibility in that thing, but. They were brilliant. A bit like Mike Arnold, who is the gent who always dresses as like an emperor or something. I said to him that he always bring a bit of class to these conventions.
We have a good chat about classical music.
Yeah, he's brilliant and he's well travelled. He's just a really sound guy because we'd kind of spoke to him at the last one before this one. But they remind me in that same vein of just bringing a bit of class. You know, they wear something quite nice, but they also have a good laugh, like with the broccoli thing. That was unique. I'm surprised nobody's ever done some sort of broccoli thing before. It's only when you see it you think, oh yeah, that's actually a big thing in Star Trek.
There were some incredible cosplayers this year, just unique, not necessarily in massively detailed. Like, and in fairness to the Andorians, there was some Borg last year that had like the full suit with every prosthetic, but just the variance and the depth and the uniqueness of some of them, like the punk rocker and the broccoli. Yeah. It's just incredible. Like stuck in a transporter getting eaten by stuff. Like what the fuck? Like, it's incredible. Yeah, there's some fantastic ones this year.
Well, we had a Jemadar as well, didn't we?
Oh, Jemadar I was so delighted to see the Jemadar. That was fantastic.
I pulled on his prosthetics. I was like, "Are you sure you're just not a Jemadar?"
No, it was straight up a Jemadar. Yeah.
Was that the Vince Holder one? Because he had a fight with Gibbo. Obviously not a real fight.
Gibbo.
Yeah, but because he was melting in that thing as well. That man.
That was another one I went running for a picture for. Yeah.
I got a picture with the three that were at the Borg.
Yeah.
The three people that were the Borg.
Yeah.
And I think I grab a photo, and the woman was like saying, "Sorry, we're only doing a simulation today. We're not doing photos." But she let me have a photo.
That would have been really good.
While I was there posing, and obviously I got the technical things, they did the soundbite where it said, "We are the Borg." The shit out of me.
There was a couple of dudes doing the Gorn Kirk fight, and they were fighting the stuff around for that. But it was really loud.
It was really loud,
really loud. Yeah, they had so much energy, and they were drumming up a crowd, and then they'd do the fight, and he was doing the slow, all of that lot. And they're there every year, so they did. I remember at the last one I went to at the Excel, they did the Kirk Spock
fight
death match.
Is that them? Like cable guy. Sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, brilliant.
Best friends forced to do battle.
I mean, every year they do that, and they just go round the convention, like you say, engaging people and putting on a wee bit of a show. And it's nice. It's nice actually to see cosplayers like Gibbo.
But that really adds to the atmosphere. If you didn't have people, I mean, wearing cosplay itself is brilliant, right? And that raises the atmosphere. But then when you get people like Horatio, Gibbo, the Gord and Kirk and that going around actually putting on a show, it is, you've constantly got stuff happening that's not scheduled. What's that? What's your cat called, Patches? Never seen your cat before.
Alfie.
What's it all about? Yeah.
Alfie.
Yeah. So Sunday morning, I had my head down. I was sat down. It was me, Claire, Susan, and Mike, and we're just literally getting ready to go. And I'm on my phone. I'm just sort of checking the route, and he went past, and he said good morning, and I didn't even know. I was just like this. And Susan was like, Armin Shimmerman just went past you and said good morning. I was like, what? So I thought, well, I'm not having that. So I've got straight up and I've sprinted down to where he was going towards the lift, get up to the rooms. And as luck would have it, he kind of stepped to one side to let somebody through the doors. And I caught up with him and I've gone, Mr. Shimmerman. He's looked around. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I do apologise. I said, you said good morning to me. I said, I was very heavy in my phone, checking traffic, getting ready to leave. I said, and I do apologise. I stuck my hand, I went, good morning. And he kind of looked at me and says, like, who the fucking hell is this idiot? Yeah, good morning.
Security!
Did you tell him you were a big fan of his work?
It's really fun anytime I get to see DS9 cast when I'm done up as a Cardassian, because they all kind of stop and go, oh, cool. Every single time. It's brilliant. Yeah. It's the best thing.
When I went for my green screen with Armin Shimmerman, I walked in. I was the last one to go in. I took my sunglasses off. I looked rough. And I walked up to him and went, Andrew Robinson, Mr. Robinson, I've been waiting so long to meet you. I really love your work on DS9. And he just looked at me like, what? And I was like, honestly, Garak's one of my favourite characters. I'm glad you could make it this year. And he was like, and he was about to let me have the picture taken and just go, yeah. If Andy Robinson's who you want, that's who you're getting in your end now. And I said, no, I know it's you. I know who. And I said, you know, I know it's you, Mr. Shimmerman. And he went, oh, you had me going then. I said, yeah, I just couldn't. I don't know why I did that. I just couldn't help myself. And he went, I needed a laugh. It's really hot in here. And I was okay. And had the picture. And we were both really smiling. And as I walked away, I could see it in his face. Yeah, I could see it in his face. He was like. I couldn't help it though. I couldn't. And do you know what? I didn't go as far as to say I'm having my picture done with you because Andy Robinson isn't here, and I just really wanted a picture of a professional picture of the weekend. So it's you, boy. I didn't.
Sir Rock Lofton was the first one I got, and like this was still like fairly early on the Friday, and I was still kind of like, Andrew's not here. He's just he turned around, took one look at me, and his eyes went so wide, and he was just like, oh, and held out both his hands and like took my hands, like pulled me into the picture, and was like, this is gonna be all right, yeah. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. I think Sir Rock wears it better than Will Wheaton. Do you know that?
Yeah.
He loves it. He was so nice. He was brilliant.
He was genuinely such a lovely guy.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
He loved it as well.
Really
you can tell he loves being part of it, and he seemed to love the fans. It wasn't like I'm here because I have to. He seemed to really, really love it. And I'm not sure if it's because he was on Deep Space Nine, and it seemed to be a bit more of a professional outfit there with with Mr. Brooks, as he was saying. But they took it really seriously what they did. Like we said, there was no messing around. They took it seriously, and Armin Shimmerman, whenever he talks about Deep Space Nine, I remember at a previous con a few years ago, and he was saying that I think Deep Space Nine is the best of all the Star Trek series, and like people laughed a bit, and it's like no, and he genuinely means it. Because no, I'm not having a laugh. I genuinely, and he gives his reasons why, and because he, like a lot of the other people in Deep Space Nine, didn't just turn up for a job. They've become big Star Trek fans either because of it or because they already were. And they'll tell you about the universe and the expanded universe and the character development. You're like, fuck, this guy does genuinely love this project that he was part of. I suppose he's talked about it a lot since then, so it's difficult to not get immersed in it. But I loved all that, and Sirach was a big part of that, and they clearly got on really well. But he was brilliant, Sirach, and I would love to see him at another convention because he was a good addition.
I went to get that book signed.
All right, yeah.
Oh wow!
Oh.
I was the whole point was I wanted to bring a whole load of books and get them signed this year, and let's see if I can find the camera.
Hey.
He was chatting about that, and he was like, "Oh, I've never seen one of these before," and he was like, "No, I didn't mean that. I've never signed one of these before. I've got a copy at home." And he was asking me about it if I had a chance to read it, and as we chatted about that, and then before I went, he reached across the table again, took my hands. He's like, "Right, until I see you again." And I'm like, this was really nice.
You were at the closing ceremony, Dan, so you missed the fact that Robert McNeil pointed out that Sirach has just done a course, teaching a course.
Yeah, about deep world building.
I'd love to do that course. Can you imagine what are you studying?
I'd love to do that course, yeah.
Imagine that in University Challenge. That'd be brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't even know that was a course. I'd be getting my kids to do it now. Why do you do Deep Space Nine studies? No, Dax, it's not going to lead to a job anywhere. And I don't like Star Trek. And then I'll just die inside. But I was just saying, this was a thumbs up, weren't it? Nobody's really got anything bad to say about this convention. There was a lot of negative stuff about it before it happened, same as the one in 2023. But it feels like everybody enjoyed it. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Thumbs
I think,
up.
and the hotel is what we expected, if not,
it's better
more
than
because of the cost of breakfast.
We're not spending 350 quid on a bed for the night again, ever.
I think the only thing I can really suggest for the improvement would be, do you know, it was spread out as if it was more in one area. Because one thing I mentioned on the Facebook page is,
but definitely props. The props
would be good.
They used to have. Sorry, the props they used to have, even though they were wearing out and things sometimes, it was still a prop, to have some photos with. So that is something that is a must. So I know Riker's beard is probably a no-go again. I think they've already said for next year. But if we could even put that to Jason Joyner, if enough people say he might open his eyes and do it, you've got to pay them together, you know what I mean? There's so many talented people. I don't know if people would... He was saying about having... In the last speech, the closing ceremony, he was saying about having a place where people whose costumes are that good, we would like to even display those, as well as the museum. Let's have your cosplays available to show, so the day you're not wearing it, it would be, available for people to see. And that's a really good idea. And that's where you could have a makeup table and a repair station and these kind of things, which are obvious, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been talking about that as well, because if that's something that's really going to happen, I've got Cardassian armor and stuff that I can bring down just for that. I'd be really happy to have on show.
Like Sam said, the captain's chair, years before the boat, different things.
Yeah,
I don't know why you can go down the zoo for the day. You can go down to certain places, or like carnivals and that. You got face painting. I don't know why they haven't got a face painter.
Yeah, true, actually.
Got that?
Well, a caricature artist as well as
right.
things like that. It's easy to do stuff.
Little things like that would make a huge difference. You know what I mean? People to bring their own stuff and just put it all on display, and then people to come and find you and go, bloody hell, how did you make that? Or what made you think of this, etc. Like that.
Yeah,
that'd be brilliant. I could bring out my workshop.
Exactly, I think your stuff is well worth showing as well. And Gibbo, you've got stuff. The Klingon Bat'leth. You've got. I know you use it, but maybe not every day.
Who is it who was talking about backdrops? Because even if they just had some backdrops, like where that museum bit was, so people can take selfies or photos. Because that'd be quite simple, wouldn't it?
Yes,
You don't even need to man that station, and you can just have those there. And I didn't know about that Lego bit.
Free green screen. A screen that is just green, so you can take photos with everybody in front of it and put your own backgrounds on later.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not done at more cons.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's because they want to.
Well, that's again simple.
But even if you got digital only ones, so let's say they had green screen things that were free, but they were digital, so then you could buy the pictures digitally once they became, once all the pictures go online, because that way you're not shelling anything out for it there, but you'd be paying, $5 afterwards. I don't know how feasible that is.
The green screen thing sucks, man. We used to have real bridges.
But it can be, but they are a lot cheaper though. Well, the green screens can't, because I used to love the green screen ones, as long as the images were good. I remember getting one years ago at the NEC, and it was a really grainy JPEG in the background. It was proper shit. So much compression on that thing. But as long as you get a good one, they can look really good, and they're normally cheap. They're normally $5 rather than say 30 odd.
Andrew, that's not straight, mate.
But it also works out well if you've got a group of you. If you've got, let's say there's all those want a photograph. If you wanted one, say, with Armin Shimmerman, it'd be 30 odd quid each. Whereas if we do a green screen picture, it'd be a $5.
I want to go to a convention and see the real shit.
Yeah. So what do you want to see at the next convention then? Because I think this one went really well. I think I thought honestly, if it was just the same as this one, I'd be happy. But
you know what? Do it in. I know Blackpool is Blackpool and all of that lot. He should stick in. I don't know, man. He's got. I've seen his collection of Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
Get some of that up there. It's a massive enterprise.
Yeah. The one with all the lights and stuff. That was pretty cool. And they're mass produced as well. They were done as props for big stores and stuff. So there's hundreds of those. So yeah, get that up there. Something like that.
Mr. Chance's. Do you know what? I missed Mr. Chance.
It was all Mr. Chance.
Honestly, I wanted to get a picture with Mr. Chance, but I missed Mr. Chance every time. I got a picture of Mr. Chance with, I think, the Andorians or something. But I personally, and because I didn't do the talks, not because I deliberately avoided them, I just missed them because I was just doing other stuff or chatting. So I don't know. Were they at the closing ceremony?
Yeah. They came on the stage.
Yeah. Do you know what this convention was missing? Do you know what was missing? It was missing Billy. There we go. Billy, Shuttlebay 4 member who should have been crew in there. I don't know if Billy watches these, but let's say hello to Billy.
Do you know what? I had a lot going on. Billy. I did tell him I'd get.
This is Shuttlebay 4 after dark. This is where shit gets real.